Grab a six or a cold ones and whatever else trips your trigger. We're about to embark on a Dynasty road trip. That's right, we'll tool around the back roads of fantasy football land, taking in the sights of 10 and 12 man Dynasty leagues. But leave your keys at home, because here's your drivers, Ron and Jonah.
Yeah, you want to do the podcast we came here to do?
I'm 50-50 on that right now. I mean, I could just riff. I mean, I feel like it's maybe been a long time since you and I were both actually just done with the day, being able to sit down and do the podcast and kind of be relaxed. It's been a bit for me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about football though, because it was a really fun week of football. You had some quality football Sunday. I mean, you had the Bills losing to the Vikings. You had the Packer Dallas game, and
Wow.
you had the Monday night game, which saw the Eagles get upset.
Yeah. I literally watched none of those. So it was so surprising to me to hear all of those things.
You had some big name players get injured. You've got some real. I think right now, as far as storylines go, I feel like some things are getting locked in right now for the playoff run. I kind of wanted to go today if you're up for the road trip still, and I have an idea, by the way. What if I run the gas and the brake and you take the wheel? Shared,
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
That'll
That'll leave my brain some CPU left to then I can use one arm for drinks. Yeah.
I mean,
I think this
I will
works.
need you here with me, not way over in the bucket seat. But we can make it work.
Yeah.
I want to just you want to just hit the road? You just go for it?
Yeah, I got I'm double fisted.
Me too. Me too.
Let's get into traffic, huh?
Yeah. Well, why not?
Woo.
Hard left. Oh, where do I want to go to?
I don't know. I was to say I don't even know where to start here.
Well,
wow.
I kind of wanted to go running backs, but then I kind of was like, you know what? We are going into what? I think we're going into week 11.
Yeah, going to 11.
11, 12. We got 4 fantasy football games left until the playoffs start. I think I want to just kind of run through the teams real quick and just say, is there anything new going into the next 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Like, has anything changed? Is there any players? Because there is this time of year where you've got this window right now where actually last year a lot of things changed for just a few players, and some really solid players became stars out of nowhere. Rashad Penny comes to mind.
True.
Devin Singletary ended the year in crazy fashion last year. Jalen Hurts became very relevant. So I kind of just thought, like, some of these teams, there's nothing new really to talk about. So I thought we'd just go through and be like, actually, that's the same as it's been. And this next team, like, hey, this is an interesting development, and I think it's going to be staying that way or changing in the next 4 weeks. Since what I said doesn't make any sense, let's switch it around. How about I'll take the wheel, you get the gas and brakes.
That'd be better. Then I really can just have both hands to hold these drinks.
And you just stop me if I'm just like way too far off.
All right.
I'm going to start in the NFC South, and I'm going to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I feel like there's 2 things that are changing there. I feel like Rachaad White is now the guy in Tampa.
That's starting to look like the case, yeah.
So has kind of the makings of maybe one of those guys. Like one of those guys that going into the playoffs all of a sudden starts getting 100 yards or a touchdown every week and becomes a flex player for you. Also think that Leonard Fournette's value is probably done.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think we saw the end of him being a starter in the NFL last week.
Like that trip to Tampa Bay was his big comeback. Like I don't think there's a second big comeback coming.
I don't. I think Brady will be the same as he is here. Mike Evans. I think Chris Godwin's getting a little bit healthier with his knee. But outside that, I really think the story in Tampa Bay is the running game, and that Rachaad White becomes a player that all of a sudden holds value that he hasn't before.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of unsolicited trade offers for Mike Evans. He's a guy people are looking at to make the stretch run in these leagues if they're going to the playoffs.
Yep.
But I do not have him on the block, so I unceremoniously dismiss those offers.
Yeah. The Saints, honestly, if I'm making a playoff run right now, I don't want any Saints.
No, I actually picked up Andy Dalton in one league just so nobody else could.
Well,
I showed them.
Yeah, I get. Wow, bold move, Ron. Bold move.
Yeah.
You beat everyone to the Dalton room. I hope you put in all your fob on that pickup. I'm in
$0.
$83 Dalton. I just want him. Just if anything, is that a dynasty?
It's that Flea Flicker League.
Oh,
Flea Flicker, a 12-man dynasty with squad, full PPR, and 1.5 for tight end. Founded by Randy in 2020.
Yeah, that probably did cost you 83.
Well, I mean, it's just like, who do you? There's nobody on the wire.
No, I didn't realize it was that league. That's 83 would be cheap for a quarterback. Kamara is just not a steady guy this year, just because the offense doesn't move the ball very well. The Taysom Hill magic's worn off. Chris Olave in a dynasty, I absolutely love the guy, but he's not getting what he did early in the season. Jameis Winston, as much as he will lose a game, he will feed a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Any other thoughts on the Saints? I'm staying away from the Saints if I'm making any kind of playoff push.
No, Kamara, kind of the same deal as that Mike Evans camp. He's a guy some people are looking at to make that playoff push, because with Dalton there, he does seem to be getting some good receptions and some good workload, because I think Dalton realizes that outside of Olave, that's his only weapon. So,
yeah, I guess you're right. I should clarify. You can't sit Kamara, but not a guy I would go out and get because you'd pay too much for something that's not guaranteed.
This is the guy people are looking at for the playoff push.
Yeah, for sure. The Panthers.
Pickle peppers. Going back to Mayfield.
Yeah. Okay, so we can stop talking about everyone in the Panthers except Donta Foreman. Agreed?
Oh, I don't know. You. That's one of the other things I forgot to mention on our first show back. During that off period between our episodes, I actually managed to get 80% own share in LaVisca Chenault. So, and last week they had a long handoff. I think he had like a 41-yard run or something stupid.
Mayfield will come in and ruin everything.
Well, I'm just going to say, if you're talking about Mayfield and you're talking about Chenault, you are also, like me, probably in last place. So
I didn't even want to say it.
No, that's where the math works on that one.
Because there's a LaVisca Chenault, which we've talked about on the show, but then you can get real dangerous and have a Mayfield LaVisca Chenault, and that can ruin lives.
Yeah.
So Carolina, obviously Donta Foreman's the running back.
He's the only thing of value.
You kind of got to start him all week. Atlanta. I feel like the fun story just ended with Atlanta. Drake London, but you don't feel great about starting him because he's so up and down. And Marcus Mariota's been cool sometimes, but he's no Geno Smith. Kyle Pitts is a letdown. He's not terrible, but he's just a letdown for whatever capital you paid for him in redraft or dynasty.
Oh, because you had to overpay for him this last year. You
had to. And, that running backfield you can't start any of them right now because they all just hurt each other's value entirely. So if you're in the playoffs, you probably shouldn't be starting any Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Let's go to the South on the other side. Let's go to the Texans. I think we can do – I feel like you can do this exact same thing with the Texans you can do with the Panthers.
Yeah.
Damian Pierce, no one else you should be starting right now.
Yeah, maybe you got a Cooks, but you probably aren't feeling real great about that.
I own Cooks in league, and you absolutely cannot start him.
No, I think I took him in a Mega Bowl because I thought he'd have another solid year.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something we'll circle back to after we get through our road trip and settle up and maybe talk about the Mega Bowl a little bit.
Yeah, that's been doing well for me. The Colts, I was about to write everyone off, and then Jeff Saturday came in like we always knew he would.
Absolute genius. Yeah, like we said on the podcast. He's
right. We were like two things you can count on: Geno Smith and Mike Saturday being stars this year.
Mike,
I called him Mike, didn't I?
Yeah, you mic'd him. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call him Mike Sunday. Fuck him.
Next time I make a Madden franchise, that's gonna be my coach, Mike Sunday.
Mm-hmm. So Mike Sunday, that'll be a fun story, but
is it really just as simple as put the veteran back in and then hand the fucking ball to the running back, let him go forward?
It feels like that's helpful. It also helps to play the Las Vegas Raiders. So we'll see next week. Michael Pittman became back into relevance where like he was but I don't love him like I did before the year started. Jonathan Taylor's better, but he's not top 5 Jonathan Taylor like he should be this year. So you got to start Jonathan Taylor. You got to start Michael Pittman. I don't start anyone else if I'm in the playoffs.
Even in that league we have with elevated tight end receptions, I finally had to cut loose Mo Alley Cox.
Yeah, well, yeah.
How everybody loves Cox.
Cox? What's so big about Cox? I hate Cox. I wouldn't touch Cox with a 10-inch pole.
For some people, it's hard to get up on Cox.
Yeah, no. I had to clear room for Andy Dalton, so.
Well, that's no different. The Jaguars, Christian Kirk's become relevant again. Travis Etienne is relevant, and Evan Ingram's relevant. So
can't get a sack of fucking stale donuts for him in a trade offer, but you can plug him in as a streamer in your flex.
Yeah, I'm okay with starting all 3 of those players. No one else. I'm not. You can't be starting Trevor Lawrence.
No,
anyone else in that league. So those are the 3 guys I'm starting. I don't see anything changing that year. I guess I should say on a lot of these teams, I don't see. I haven't seen it yet on any of these rosters, so I would say it if I had. But I don't see any situation where if a starter like running back gets hurt, the guy behind him becomes a star. I don't see that yet. But I think the next team I would talk about actually could be that, and the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, that's actually something I wanted to mention to you too. Is when you're taking a flyer on a backup running back like that, like we talked about, I had a cornucopia of shit. I'll put it this way: the backup in Tennessee has a larger own share in dynasty leagues, but he has a smaller percentage of starts than Huntley in Atlanta.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like he's getting nothing for touches, but if Henry goes down, there's the potential that he gets all the touches.
Yes, exactly. And so who would you take? You actually already.
I took both.
I know. I feel like Dontrell Hilliard right now is the guy who's getting the play alongside Henry, but I do believe this is one of the situations that if Henry got hurt, Dontrell Hilliard would play his role still, and Hassan Haskins would be the guy.
That's exactly the opinion I had at that place.
Yep. So I would say if you got room, and you can sneak in a Hassan Haskins, because this is this time of year where it's like you go out on the wire, you're like, well, I can, honestly, especially in the redraft, you could like cut a Brandon Cooks right now and just take a gamble on Haskins because you're never going to start Cooks.
Right.
anything else in Tennessee? No. Derrick Henry, that's all I'm starting. I believe we'll say maybe one of those tricky players that could end the season strong. I don't know enough that you would feel good starting him on the regular, but it's possible. Treylon Burks, just a sneaky little name to put out there. He was a top pick, and he got hurt, and he's back, and it's his first game back, and Ryan Tannehill's back. The Titans are in a playoff hunt. I do think that Treylon Burks is a buy low stash sort of guy.
Did you see what I went and did this week?
What'd you do?
Oh, you didn't see that on Wednesday morning?
Did you grab Treylon Burks?
I did not.
What'd you do?
You
went all in on Ibi Wakanuka.
I way overpaid for Westbrook Ikeen.
Yes, you
fuck it. We got how many weeks left? I got almost all my fob. I don't give a fuck. What's this fob? Fake money? Take $33 and shove them up your virtual ass. I'm taking Westbrook Ikeen because he's 6'2", he's like 24, and I got nothing to fucking lose, brother.
No, I love it. Why not? There's no one else to pick up in that league. You might as well go for a guy that has upside like that.
Yeah, we're on a bender, and he looks like a big old bottle of Quality House.
That being said, if you're starting him, you're probably also not in the playoffs. I think we've got some. So there honestly was not a ton of playoff caliber players in the South. I went through the AFC and the NFC. Probably of all those players, I say Derrick Henry and Mike Evans are probably the top guys. That's
fair.
Yeah. But then I think you start to get some more players up here in the. We'll head up north there. Go to the Ravens. Lamar, of course. Andrews is coming back. So for all of those who, thought Isaiah Likely was going to be the star player for the rest of the year.
God, I tried moving him.
Yeah, he kind of had that game where Andrews went out and he stepped up, and then he's just been an average tight end since. So Andrews is still the star. That running back field, I would say if Gus Edwards wasn't coming back this week, I'd say Kenyon Drake is one of those sneaky guys that could be one. I'll put Kenyon Drake in the not quite as good but possible Rashad Penny category if Gus Edwards wasn't coming back, but he is. And I think what's unfortunate here is Kenyon Drake did enough in those two games without Gus Edwards there.
He's going to siphon carries.
That now I don't want to start either of them. You know what I mean? Right. So really, I only have Lamar and Andrew as guys until I see 2 or 3 weeks down the road.
Yeah, see how those touches play out.
But man, I do not feel good going to a place and being like, I'm going to count on either Kenyon Drake or Gus Edwards. You'd have to own both to feel good about that scenario.
Yeah, just depending on how each week played out.
Yep. The Bengals are, quite honestly, probably no different from when the year started. I mean, Jamar Chase comes back. He's a must start. T. Higgins is a must start. Joe Mixon's a must start. Joe Burrow's a must start. And Hayden Hurst is a really nice bye week or injury sort of tight end guy to own.
Yeah.
And now we get interesting because Deshaun Watson's about to come back to the Cleveland Browns. Not come back. I shouldn't say come back.
Yeah, no, that was not the way to do that.
No, he's going to play for the Cleveland Browns. We have no idea what's going to happen there. Okay, let's take Amari Cooper and Njoku, because those really, beside Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, and Njoku are probably the guys you can be playing this year, even in the playoffs. Does their value go up or down to you with Watson?
Well, I think they'd have to go up. I mean, just because that's got to be an improvement over what they're starting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I agree, but my question is, what's a year and a half of rust look like for the next 5 weeks?
Yeah, you can't simulate NFL speed and contact, and you can run practice full speed, but without contact.
Talking a year and a half.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So Nick Chubb is probably the stable guy out there. I don't know what you're going to get out of Cooper and Njoku. They could get a lot better. They could get worse, to be honest, just for the short term.
Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with Cleveland, so.
Not me either. Chubb, I would obviously got Chubb. He's
that's the exception.
Yes.
He said Njoku was playing well when he was healthy, but who knows how that target share looks now the quarterback's changed. So I can't. I mean, said he's got a theoretical bump just from the upgrade behind the center, but
Yep. The Steelers, from a fantasy football standpoint, I mean, I like what I see with Kenny Pickett. He's taking steps forward. His running game is great. But going into the playoffs, you can't be starting Kenny Pickett. Deontay Johnson and George Pickens will be good down the road. I just don't think in fantasy football playoffs right now you can be starting any Steelers.
Yeah, Freiermuth is the only guy
thank you.
I feel comfortable.
Yep,
I mean, if you've got Najee, you're pretty much guaranteed you're got to start him. You're not feeling great about it. But yeah, I mean, the sad part is Freiermuth is the most dependable at his position on that roster right now.
Talked to a Najee Smith Dynasty football owner this week who is...
You just changed his name too? What the fuck's
called?
Najee Smith. You just... Mike Saturday gave old Najee Smith a call. He's about recruiting him down to the Baltimore Colts.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because he plays like he's a Smith. It's just generic.
Yeah. Maybe they'll sign him by Smarch.
Well, I've had too much Schwartz.
Yeah, Schwarzbier's climbing up on me now. Probably not the best thing to wash down straight bourbon. Is that real dark beer?
Yeah, no, it's good. I like where we are. This is going to be a 7-hour podcast.
It is.
So I talked to a Najee Harris owner who made a deal.
Better.
And he said to me, he's like, I got to be honest. I picked up this Warren guy who backs up Najee, and I'm worried that he's not going to be the running back by the end of the year.
That's fair.
And I know you watch the Steelers closely, and I heard this comparison on another fantasy podcast the other day, and I was like, you know what? That's not wrong. But Austin Eckler comparison to Warren.
Okay. I could see a little bit of that.
Just plays like super hard and, just that little ball of cute muscle.
Yeah.
And just plays with this like effort that is clear his explosiveness from the handoff. He makes Najee Harris look so slow.
Yeah, as soon as he touches it, he is moving forward at nearly top speed.
It's pretty impressive. So I am going to say, if you can get Warren for cheap or if he's on the wire, I do not hate picking him up because he is one of those guys where the Steelers might be, you know what, why not? Let's see what we got. And I would say Warren is a guy that I would put on my roster.
The way that Pittsburgh is trending, I can completely see Tomlin scaling back Harris's touches big time. And until this last week, man, Harris didn't look like the better of the two running backs. But this last week, he ran with some thunder. There were some runs where it almost looked like he was feeling a little threatened for his jab.
Good. He needs it.
Yeah. I felt much better seeing like that man was running with some anger. I was enjoying it.
I agree. That was a good game for him. Let's go to the other Nort.
There.
God, the Bears. I have to say this. I don't. Justin Fields,
based on his rushing, you got to.
You have to start him, and he is a good running back. And he's for that purpose. He's a really good fantasy quarterback right now, and I don't. And it hurts me because he's bad at football, but he's good at running.
Well, see, that's what I was saying about Jalen Hurts last year, and he proved me.
Yeah, that's true. I don't like. I mean, he did like I picked up Cole Kmet actually in that Mega Bowl 3 weeks ago and started him. And man, boy, howdy, has that been nice for me. So Fields and Cole Kmet.
Wow.
You have
All right.
to. I know. We've said it. We've knocked this guy, but you know what? Somebody bought a vowel. And I think what we saw this last 2 weeks is that Cole Kmet has been born.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll say it. It's you can't argue with does he have 4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks? Yeah, he is the go-to target right now for Fields. On the opposite end of on the other wide receivers end, Darnell Mooney, not consistent enough. You can't drop him. You got to own him, especially in Dynasty.
Sure.
But you cannot be starting him in the playoffs right now. He's not consistent enough, and Chase
got no trade value. Yeah,
none. And Chase Claypool's just going to take some time to develop with Fields. It's not a guy that you can start. But the guy that I now love, who really turned it on this time last year too, David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Khalil Herbert just got put on IR.
Yeah, saw that, man.
You know that happened on the last kickoff of the game?
Oh, really?
They got Khalil Herbert as the kick returner, and he got tackled and busted his hip all up.
Oh, that's bullshit.
I know, like meaningless shit, you know? So, anyways, that being said, I actually own Herbert in many leagues, so kind of a blow to my playoff run in 2 of the leagues. But I do own David Montgomery in 1 other league, and I was like, all right, let's go. Montgomery, I think a clear top 10 back with Herbert's injury.
That's fair.
Yeah, I hated him when Herbert was there, but now I'm like, this is, to me, the parallel, and we haven't talked about this team yet, but the parallel between what David Montgomery is on the field without Khalil Herbert is what Ezekiel Elliott would be without Tony Pollard. Where you don't you love the other guy, right? Like I'd rather have Herbert be the guy who's healthy and Montgomery be hurt. Right. Just like I'd rather have Pollard be the guy and Zeke getting hurt. But if the star backups are hurt, then Elliott and Montgomery are the guys that I really like. The Lions? That backfield,
conundrum.
That backfield is... What is going on with DeAndre Swift?
Not sure.
Like, he's too hurt, so they're being careful with him, but then he's not hurt, but they're being careful with him. Jamal Williams is getting carries. Swift is getting carries. He gets touchdowns, but not yards. I own him. He was a high pick for me in a league, and I start him, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Name too big to not bench. Amon-Ra St. Brown, of course, you've got to start, but I think that's it. Like Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift in a pinch right now, if you don't have anyone better, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown probably is your 3rd wide receiver. You got anything else on the Lions?
No.
Yeah.
No. Just I don't want any of that.
No. Not really. I don't feel good about it. Amon-Ra's the...
But that's every team this year, though, honestly. It's like, that inconsistent dumpster fire. I don't want any of them.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, how about the Packers?
Wow.
I've got to dig deep and be honest on this because it's fantasy football. It's not my personal opinion. So I'm actually all in on Aaron Jones rest of the season.
Yeah.
He's been the one consistent piece.
True. He was supposed to cede all these touches to Dylan this year, and it just never happened.
God, I have Dylan in a handful of redraft leagues. And
yeah, because this was supposed to be the year where he took, at least 60-40.
Every single waiver Tuesday, I'm looking down my roster, and every time I'm like, it probably should be A.J. Dillon, but I just can't.
You can't, no.
But, man, you're not starting him. And then for the Packers, I have a buy low candidate for you, okay? Alan Lazard. To me, he's a buy low wide receiver right now for your playoff run. I think this Christian Watson 3-touchdown game, not that it won't happen in the future, but I think it's fluky, but I think you could go to. I think Lazard is still the clear-cut number one target in Green Bay, and I think you could go to an Alan Lazard owner right now and be like, Watson's the dude. I'll take this guy off your hand for pennies.
Yeah, right.
Well,
he's just a number 2 now that Watson's clearly established, and
I don't think I'd feel comfortable starting Watson until I've seen it twice. But I
was starting him last week.
Yeah,
I got that game in Flea
Nice.
Flicker. That's how
awesome.
that's how fucking thin that league is.
Wow, that's pretty awesome though.
I had
That's
no
nice.
option. I couldn't. There was no one else to start.
That's
LaVisca Chenault had already gone off for me, but he was on my bench.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, so I guess we have to wait and see with Watson, and Jones and Lazard are the only guys I'd feel comfortable starting.
But wait, you left someone out.
I did not.
But you did. Wait a minute. You didn't hear what I did this week, did you?
I can't believe you did this, and I can't
Did you
believe-
see it?
Oh, I saw. In fact, not only that, but did I look at it before you hit accept and thought, oh my God, I think I'd do that.
I know, right? Like IBM Watson was like, yeah, you might as well take Robert Tonyan.
I can't believe you took Robert Tonyan in.
I did. The guy that offered him to me legit did not know about the whole bit on the show.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
After he sent the offer, I clipped it, sent him the file of me saying, any one of you comes at me with a fucking Robert Tonyan trade offer, I will come to your house. And then I wrote him back and was like, you know what? I think I'm going to take that deal.
Yeah,
And he replied with Tokes for Tonyan. So here we go.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So good. So you got Tonyan, and
Now my team is fixed. My work
You
here
did-
is done.
you didn't pay anything for him, and I'm glad you didn't, because you might as well.
I had to
But
do it, right?
You had to. Oh yeah, you threw away nothing to get him.
Yeah, it was
So-
too funny.
That being said, I still am not. Alan Lazard and Aaron Jones are still the only two guys that I am gonna have on a playoff run. The Vikings, Cook and Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. And if a star quarterback got hurt, Kirk Cousins is the perfect backup.
Lord.
Justin Jefferson, amazing game. I mean, kind of guy who gets hot at the right time of the year. Man, that guy could win you some leagues this year. Let's go to you want to go? I'm gonna let you decide. I am pretty plowed. I feel like I should go. I feel like I should actually. We're halfway through. It's been a long drive. I feel like I should probably get out and have a beer, not in the car. Just maybe get out
my Tokes for Tonyan fogging up the windows on you there.
a little bit. So I think I'm gonna step out. I'll be back in about 2 minutes and grab a freshie. Maybe just slam a beer and look up at the stars for a bit. It's kind of fun just to revisit the team as whole. So many not questions left, Start the season like, maybe that guy could be great. Maybe that rookie will take over. Maybe that guy will. Now you're like, well,
No.
that's all done with.
No, some guy like Westbrook Ikeen's going to have one big game and you're going to drop all your fob because you're already eliminated by the batshit crazy, injury riddled, and completely unpredictable 2022 season.
Yep, for sure. Let's start in the East, and I'm gonna go over to randomly go to the Washington Commanders.
The Washington football team.
Yes, well
A
done.
drink to you, football team.
Well done, football team. You are clearly correct in your naming, football team.
You guys footballed so hard.
So hard. You didn't command much. You commanded
No.
on Monday, but it hasn't had a lot of commanding. But Tyler. I'm going to say this one wrong, so I'll just call him Tyler Smith, the new quarterback.
Yeah, you got the first name wrong too, though. So
Tyler, is it Tyler?
no,
It's not. Is it Taylor?
no, it's Taylor.
No,
Yeah,
don't lie to me.
I'm 94% sure.
It's Taylor Heineke. Did I say his last name right?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
that was
it's
good. That
Taylor
was
Heineke.
well
That's funny.
done.
I got Heineke right, and I got Taylor wrong. I was worried. I was like, I'm going to butcher it, and I got the easy one wrong. All right. So, old Tyler Heineke.
How is it possible you got worse?
Old Tyler Heineke.
Oh, the Taylor here.
No, the Taylor Heedy. He throws it to that Terry McLaurin fella. Real nice like.
Yeah.
His value's gone up. Brian Robinson and Gibson are like, God, if one of them got hurt, like let's say hypothetically, okay, just crazy out there thing, but let's say one of those guys got shot, for instance.
Yes.
Now,
Far-fetched.
unlikely.
Far-fetched, but I'll go with you on this.
Okay. The other one's value would be pretty high for me right now. So,
Yes.
yeah, like Gibson did I call him Anthony Gibson?
I don't know, man.
I hope so.
I'm so fucking hammered now.
In my head, he's Anthony Gibson. So if he were to get hurt, Brian Robinson's value goes way up. I guess what I'm saying is both those running backs, like right now, are like a flex play maybe, but one gets hurt, they're a starter for me. But that being said, Terry McLaurin right now is the only guy that I'm feeling great about starting off that team.
And he's a guy of philosophy I was preaching last week.
Yeah.
Of talent over situation. I was able to pick him up in 40% of my dynasties early in the season because he wasn't performing.
Yes.
And it's like, well, yeah, but it's not because he doesn't have talent. So give me your talent at bargain basement price. And if a quarterback who's smart enough to throw it to the talented player comes in, well, then voila. I've just come into some value.
For sure.
Smoke to that.
Let's go to the Giants. Now, at this point in the season, is there anyone besides Saquon Barkley you're like, yes, that's what I want?
No.
Yeah. So Barkley's your only guy really if you're making a playoff run.
I have been playing Daniel Jones off and on in a couple of leagues. Obviously, that's been out of necessity. Yeah. He's been pretty good, though. Especially, like I said, I have 5 dynasties now. I'm playing in 9 goddamn leagues. So I've got a pretty good idea for what the average quarterback year was this year. He's been above that.
You've been starting DJ.
What the fuck? You're like a 62-year-old substitute teacher. Like, Denarius, get over here. My name's Josh. Back talk me, mister.
We're moving on from the Giants. We'll go to the Cowboys. I like Dak. I like CeeDee Lamb. I'm okay with Dalton Schultz if you don't have Kelsey or Andrews. And I feel like we covered the Pollard-Elliott backfield. I like Pollard more, even when Elliott's healthy. But if one of those two gets hurt, the other becomes a must start.
Word.
I guess right now with the running back landscape too, let's be honest. Like if Elliott's going to start for the Cowboys, you have to start him because his chances of getting like 50 and a touchdown are pretty high.
Yeah, and in today's NFL, that 11 points, oh boy, that's a great floor. If you got that as a floor, mother father.
Yes, I tried to do that in the league. Only have 10-point floors. It's expensive to buy only 10-point floors. The Philadelphia Eagles. Now, before Goddard went down for the year on IR, they'd be another team where I would say, I'll start all the pieces. Hurts, of course, top quarterback. A.J. Brown, top wide receiver. Devonta Smith, not a terrible flex if you have to. And Miles Sanders is that 10-point floor.
Fair.
And that's all. Nothing more to talk about the Eagles. It's pretty straightforward. Let's go to the Buffalo Bills. We've got Josh Allen, of course, top. Stephon Diggs, top player in his position. You got to start those guys. Gabe Davis has just that opportunity to be a big play guy every week. You got to start him. Gabe Davis is the kind of guy where it's going to go from like 25 to 5, though. You're gambling with a little bit with Gabe Davis. And then that backfield is poopy. Naeem Hines, is that his name? It's not, is it?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
I put an M on it. Is it Himes or Hines?
No, it's Hines.
Yeah.
You M'd. Oh, man. I was going to give you credit until you fucking narked yourself out.
No, I basically made his name Hims.
Name Hims.
Name Hims. He's there. Singletary's there. Cook is there, and it's a very telling little story, hidden story. The Arizona Cardinals, who we haven't got to yet, cut Eno Benjamin, right? And did you see Eno Benjamin ended up with the Texans today?
I did not see that.
But if you want to know something really interesting, I believe the Bills and the Chiefs put a claim in on him.
Okay.
So that tells me I'm staying the F away from starting any of the Bills' backfield right now. If they've got Cooks, Hines, and Cooks, Cooks, Hines, and Singletary back there, and they're still putting a waiver claim in on a running back.
Sizzling hot takes.
I think I made that story up. I think it might have only been the Chiefs that put in the waiver claim.
You son of a bitch.
No, I don't know.
What the fuck is going on here?
I'm making shit up. You should see how I just spelled his name.
It's a fucking good thing nobody listens to us. We ain't getting some kind of trouble.
I want to see who put in a waiver claim on Eno Benjamin.
Oh, there's a fucking sentence I had pictured that I was going to hear today.
Yeah. Eno Benjamin waiver claims. Is this even going to be an article I can see?
Google's going to be like, you need help. Stop right there.
Okay, here we go.
All right, let's clear this shit up.
The Chiefs were, okay, New Texans run by Eno Benjamin. I am wrong. I did make it up.
You son of a bitch.
The Chiefs, Saints, and Seahawks put a claim in on him.
Seahawks makes sense.
Yeah. So, anyways, forget what I said about that. Devin Singletary is a guy that I would start now. Since
you trying to do to my credibility, you son of a bitch.
All right. Well, down to the other team, the
Jesus Christ. Do you know how football's played? Is this I'm going to find out I've been getting fucking grifted by some guy who thinks this is soccer.
Well, I know it's not soccer. Miami, Hill, Waddle, Tua, clear cut. No question. You got any questions on those three guys?
None.
Notice I said I did not say Tua's last name.
I approve.
Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, that stat was basically that Chase was leading in yards left on the field. Like he was not getting everything that was blocked for him.
Yeah, I think that Jeff Wilson is all of a sudden the running back I prefer in the Miami backfield.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I should explain that.
Go on.
I apologize to everyone. I've tried to find the scores from scoreboard from last week because I feel like it caught me off guard on how much play Jeff Wilson got.
You knew they're going to plug him right in. That was the whole point of the acquisition.
wasn't. I mean, I know Mostert got a touchdown, so it's not.
Yeah, Mostert still had touches, but yeah, they brought him in because he already knows the system, and you go plug him in and go one fucking cut, stick your foot in the ground, and yeehaw.
But do you know the carry difference? Do you know Jeff Wilson got 17 and Mostert got 8?
Wow, that surprises me.
And Jeff Wilson had 2 catches and Mostert had 4. Wilson received 1 more target than Mostert. That in my mind tells me like that's one of those NFL stories where I'm like, Jeff Wilson could actually turn out to be one of those like league sort of surprise starting running backs that really help you out down the stretch, because that's game 1 with Jeff Wilson there, and he's doing that.
Well, you could see as soon as McDaniel came in, he started getting guys that fit his system.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't, they signed Mostert to a small deal. What, they bring the fullback over too?
Yep. And isn't Mostert 30?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, like, I'm just saying.
The good news is, though, he's missed so much time that he's relatively light on touches for the career.
He is.
Yeah. A lot of tread on those tires. They've been patched 7 or 8 times, but thick, bushy tread.
Thick, bushy tread.
Fucking.
All right. I usually don't like to find myself in the midst of thick, bushy tread, but hey, to each their own.
Hey, when you're as fucked up as I am, you just roll with it, man.
So like, I guess what I'm saying is like Jeff Wilson to me is like, so far going through all these teams, he's the get for me.
Yeah, he's got the most increased value in probably the last 3 weeks.
So
unless you count Westbrook Ikeen, which
I can't afford him.
Yeah. Not if you got somebody who's eliminated from the playoff and has 98 fob dollars to go fuck around with. Wait till you see the next claims I put in.
Then you got the Patriots, and what if you got Harris and Ramondre? You're grudgingly starting them. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm starting. I have Ramondre in 20%, and coming off the bye, I had to put him back in my lineup. I didn't want to remove Singletary, but damn it, I'm deep there.
Yeah, yeah. The Jets, Michael Carter's a flex. Garrett Wilson's a rookie. He has big games, so he's kind of like a flex too. Conklin is kind of like very up and down as the tight end. Can I stop talking about him?
Yeah. Great. Yeah. For God's sake, yes.
All right. Done with the Jets. Last place we're going, out west. Let's go to some teams that have changed dramatically in the last few months as far as things.
This is the fucking analysis that you can only get on Dynasty Road Trip. You won't hear that shit from Joe Buck.
So here, let's
I gotta
get more.
Pack another fucking bong. Hang on. This is just. Okay, proceed.
Okay, I mean, I suppose I can get more specific on the things.
Than things?
Yeah.
I think you can only get more specific than things.
I wanted to leave it open.
Oh, you well done, sir.
Well, here, if I can tell what actually happened to me, is the team that I looked at that I was going to talk about was the Arizona Cardinals.
Ah, yes.
And I was about to start to justify why I like Colt McCoy more than Kyler Murray. Which then that makes something in my brain go wrong. So what came out was just things.
Things have happened.
So, but I will say, sir.
Oh, go on, sir.
That the Arizona Cardinals, they won. And I know it was the Rams, but still, like, DeAndre Hopkins had a good game. James Conner had a good game. And Colt McCoy had a good game. Rondell Moore had a good game. And they won. I know it was the Rams, but they still won on the road. And it just feels like Kyler Magic to me doesn't exist. Maybe this is a okay, decent team, and Kyler's actually not the one who makes them great. They're
Right.
good in spite of him. Because I can't stand the guy, to be honest. I just
You
don't like him.
definitely you got a grudge against this guy.
I do. It's rightfully so. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes. Teams don't put in that weird contract language for no reason.
No, I'm with you there. I've never heard they never said, Joe Flacco, you need to show up at the film room this many hours.
So I agree. I just, it's not. So that being said, I don't think I want, if I'm going into the playoffs and I own Kyler Murray, I think I'm looking elsewhere. And I want to in the Nasty, this just happened.
The Nasty, a 10-man half PPR dynasty featuring practice squad. Founded by Ron and Jonah in 2011.
I absolutely love this trade. I think this is my favorite trade I've seen this year in the Nasty. Actually, across the board, of two teams that are like putting themselves in the spot where they're like, I have to do something, I'm going to go for it. Okay, so
Appreciates that.
did you see the trade between Taco Corp and Punch Drunk Mormons in the Nasty?
I'm sure I did, but refresh me.
This was a guy who owns Kyler Murray.
Yes.
Went and got Justin Fields
Ah.
and a second-round pick
Okay.
for Kenneth, and gave up Kenneth Walker to a team who has Jalen Hurts as their quarterback.
Okay.
I like the move. So, you're giving up a young top dynasty running back, but you're getting a potential top 10 fantasy quarterback for a long time and getting a second-round pick. So,
Yeah, true.
I don't even remember why. Oh, we got here because that being said, like that's a Kyler Murray owner, and that's what's in his head is like, no, I would rather give away a top running back and get Justin Fields than deal with this Kyler Murray situation anymore.
I'm just impressed he didn't call him fucking Kyle Smith.
Well, he doesn't deserve to be. No, he's Kyler Murray. I don't want him to get confused with anyone else. I don't like him. I'll remember that. Let's go to the Rams. There is not one single player I'm going to start on the Rams for the rest of the season. Done.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of claims on Skowronek and Van Jefferson.
Yep.
Like, really? You want the three in an offense with no running back and an injured Matt Stafford at best?
No, I'm going to tell you, I picked him up in a league for nothing. Skowronek.
Well, shit. I picked him up before this.
I have him in the Nasty now, I believe.
I think I did have him there. I said desperation smells bad, man.
He's my 7th wide receiver or something like that. What happened to me is actually I didn't know the Khalil Herbert injury happened. So Tuesday night when I was looking at my waivers, I put Khalil Herbert on IR and had an empty spot. And I kind of panicked and was like, Skowronek.
Yeah, why not? That's what I did too. I had an open injury spot and I had to re-release him 2 days later when that changed.
Yeah, he'll be that guy in 2 days that I'm like, it was never going to happen, Skowronek. I'm sorry.
Brian Hartline.
Yeah. Let's go to the 49ers. I'm gonna give you a little perspective on this. It's not good. I think Christian McCaffrey coming to the 49ers hurt everyone's value on that team, including Christian McCaffrey's a little bit.
I don't know. I think he's the only one that really got a bump in value out of that.
I will say he went from the only reason why I say that, like, his chances of getting touchdowns are much higher, but with Elijah Mitchell back this week, it was clear that it's going to be a split backfield, which is fine. But we did have that taste of that 1 week. But what I was more looking at is like Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and Deebo Samuel. They just need a little bit less of those guys now than what they did before they got McCaffrey.
Right.
So for that purpose, I own Deebo in a league, and I do not feel good about starting him right now, but you can't
Really?
not.
Oh, no. I feel fine starting him. I got a 40% own share, and if you're looking to deal him in any leagues we play, you ship him my way.
Oh, you have to start him, but I think you'd be surprised if you saw what he's done number-wise recently.
Like I said, I got 40% own share.
Okay.
It's not all fucking sunshine, fucking tiny beagles,
I mean,
basset hounds with droopy eyelids looking all adorable.
it's not awful. I mean, his worst game of the season was last week at 7 points. So
Right, and didn't he get hurt in that game?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
So I don't think he completed the game. So
Okay. Well, that makes sense. So I mean, that being said, like, you have to start Deebo, you have to start Kittle. Maybe Ayuk's at a spot where you have to start him. Christian McCaffrey you have to start, and then you can say Elijah Mitchell is a guy that, if you had him on IR and stuff, that was probably the best case scenario. 90 yards rushing for him last week. I think that's
for
probably,
sure.
That's probably you got to be like, okay, well, he's not going to catch any passes.
They're just going to rest McCaffrey down the stretch and make sure he's fresh for when they need him.
Yep. Yeah, the red zone's the only place that'll be really interesting to see what he ends up doing there. The Seahawks, I mean, I can't believe we're going into week 11 and Geno Smith is still relevant.
Yeah, it's for real now in my book. I've seen 2/3 of a season.
Yep. So Geno, Metcalf, Lockett, and obviously Kenneth Walker. Love Kenneth Walker. Just, I did I say it on the pod last week? I think I did. Did I claim him as Rookie of the Year? Like,
I believe you did.
Seal delivered. I stand by that. Think he's just phenomenal. So, I was shocked that someone was able to figure out a way how to buy Kenneth Walker. But Justin Fields in a 2 is a lot to give up for a running back. But I would have done that deal in a heartbeat. I love Walker. And that's Kendrith Walker for all of you looking for Walker. Let's go to the Denver Broncos. Like, can't start the backfield, can't start Russell Wilson. Jerry Jeudy's hurt. Like, Cortland Sutton, and that's it for me. And Sutton is the only reason why I'm Cortland Sutton, why I'm still in on him is because the Broncos wide receivers actually have the easiest strength of schedule rest of the year for fantasy wide receivers. That's the only reason why I'm really in on Sutton. Everyone else I'm done with, including watching them. The Raiders. Do you love that? I love the Raiders. I mean, I'm a Broncos fan, but I'm also just an avid Josh McDaniels hater.
Yeah, you got that going for you.
Yeah. The fact that the Raiders were the second team to take on Josh McDaniels, and the fact that somehow they're worse than the putrid Denver Broncos just brings me so much joy.
Man, and it wasn't that they didn't try to help him out. Man,
Yeah. Well, they had that interim coach last year, Edwin Rizzico, I believe.
Mike Sunday.
Yeah, I cannot remember that guy's name. There's some like Eddie Rizzo guy. For the Raiders.
Rudo.
They went to the playoffs, correct?
I don't know.
I think the Raiders went to the playoffs last year.
Yeah, because the Chargers fucked it up, correct?
Yeah. So that's not good. Like they're 2-7.
Next, I recorded a Drinks with Ron, and I was like, well, as long as there's no fucking tie later tonight, Pittsburgh's in the playoffs. And, what are the odds of that?
Yeah, that's
And,
crazy, isn't it?
yeah, if they would have just tied.
That's crazy. I remember that now. So you got to start Devontae Adams, and you have to start Josh Jacobs, and then that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, Carr's even tough to play, man.
Yeah, and Renfro's, the magic's gone, and Waller's out probably for
Waller,
the year.
yeah. Don't bring Waller near me neither.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretend that everything's fine and put Foster Moreau in your lineup, but you're just lying to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like snorting Adderall. Get the fuck
really
out of
is.
here.
It really is.
Get the fuck out of here with that garbage.
The Chargers, Keenan Allen's been hurt. Mike Williams has been hurt. They're coming back.
No tight end to speak of.
No, Gerald Everett's like up and down. He'll get you 5 catches a game. I actually traded for Gerald Everett for not much in the league just because I was like looking at the tight end landscape and saying, I literally went down and said, I want 5 catches a game.
Yeah.
And there was equals Gerald Everett.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was like, he's like 5 for 40, maybe a touchdown.
I remember that trade, and I didn't want to shame you at the time, but I thought it.
Deal. Yeah, that's fine.
I thought it.
That. It was desperate times. That's that league that has the tight end, inflated scoring.
And that's why I didn't give you shit. Like point and a half a catch, like you said, 5 catches. That's 7.5 points just off receptions. So if you get 0 yards, you're good.
I was put in a bad spot too. I had Irv Smith. He went on RI. RI. Wow.
What the fuck? You know, like the test you got to like, do you smell toast? You have a drooping on one side of your face.
Put him on RI. That's fantastic.
Irv Smith going on RI. IRV.
Old Irv Schmidt.
IRV Smith.
He is. That's probably what happened to me. Oh, that's awesome. And then I have Noah Fant, who you can't.
This should be a Rhode Island exemption.
So I ended up with J-Dog, old Gerald Everett there, and it's the best I could do in this situation.
Jerry, friend of the pod. My man.
So when Mike Williams or Keenan Allen come back, they're the number one target right away. Palmer's been taking the reins. I like him. I think Keenan Allen is now done. Like, not just for this year, but I think we might be on the other end of Keenan Allen's career. So I do like Palmer. I like him rest of the season, but if both those guys come back, I probably got to move Palmer down, and maybe Mike Williams is my favorite wide receiver of the.
You know how much I like Palmer? I put in a trade offer for him, and before the guy was able to review it, I pulled it back. Like, that's how much I like him. I kind of want him on my team, but then I was like, oh, I can't give that up for him.
Yeah. I do like Palmer as well, but I do think right now his value is probably
peaked.
Pretty high. Yeah.
He's looked really good in terms of targets, but it's like I couldn't give up anything of value. I had to pull it back.
We'll end our road trip here. Clearly, I am doing well with the Kansas City Chiefs, because I think it's a fitting place to end, because honestly, one of the league's top scoring teams is so hard to predict fantasy football wise. So we talked about this. The backfield is a mess. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is just out of the picture entirely.
Yeah. Wow. That was abrupt.
It was very abrupt. And I watched a football show just talking about, like, has this, like, fantasy football, has this ever happened where a running back who doesn't get injured starts out the season as a top, like, 10 fantasy running back and then is benched without injury by like 6-7 weeks later.
It feels like people bounce in and out of that top echelon all the time now, though. It's like you have 3 good weeks and you're that guy. And if you don't keep it up, it's like, Benjamin.
Yeah, but like he's not even on the field really. It's so strange. And Pacheco's like, I mean, I'll say this with some snappy attitude because everyone's talking about him. To me, Isaac Pacheco ain't all that and a bag of chips.
Agreed. That's always been a hype train deal.
Right? Like, he's taking it. Well, actually, Jerick McKinnon is the one who's kind of taking it, and that's not going to last very long. So I'm completely out on the Chiefs' backfield. I don't want to lose a playoff game because I was guessing between Jerick McKinnon and Isaac Pacheco.
Well, it kills me, though, because Clyde was still scoring.
I know.
Upwards of 10-plus points a game.
Oh, I know.
And then just like no touches. Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. It's so strange. And then at the tight end, obviously, what's his name? Mr. Kelsey.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
I think looks like he could be a good upcoming tight end.
The reason we have practice squads in the Nasty.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that's true.
Son of a bitch. I missed out on 12 years of that.
Yeah, well, I missed out on Tyreek Hill the same way. But that being said, then, well, let's go to the wide receiver position there. Right now, you've got to say Kadarius Toney is the guy that you want, but nothing's been proven yet. He had a really good game. That's it. I need to see 2.
But it looks like they want to feature him, and that's really enough in this climate.
Yep, absolutely. I absolutely agree.
Like they want to get him the ball. I'm good with that. Give me a guy they want to throw to, even if they can't do it.
Right. No, I agree. So that's all the way through, and I guess if I'm gonna sum this up as a whole, really, in a nutshell, it's the good teams that you want the players for, mostly. Is that correct? Like if I'm going through and I'm looking at divisions, I'm being like, I want guys from Tampa, I want some guys from Tennessee, I want some guys from Minnesota.
Basically, there's only a handful of offenses scoring points.
That's true. And
so anything else you're trying to do in the margins. Holy shit.
You're welcome. Have some.
You contagious son of a whore.